Excuse us, folks, as we figure out our new format. So. Hi, internets. I'm Bailey, and this is Marching into Madness. Same shit, different day, episode 29. I already did that part. I'm Bailey, and over here we got Wine Mom, resident badass. Say hi, Wine Mom.
Hello.
And then we got Raza Malik, the most annoying co-host a man could ask for. Say hi, Raza.
Hey, what's going on? I like Gundam Wing.
Hey! So Raza is successfully the first person I've converted to Gundam fandom, and I'm very proud of that. But we're not talking about that today, because Raza did do some very hard work and was not an annoying teammate. And we have a couple of interesting topics that we think could apply to like larger global concepts. So, in Canada specifically, for anyone who's like localized to us, there's been a lot of stuff coming up about our government and how we horribly mistreated our indigenous population. Now, one of those is like a big name you'll see across Toronto, and even you'll see a lot of small towns across Ontario and Canada as a whole. You'll see streets have this name. So there was a gentleman named Henry Dundas, and he was one of the big important colonizing white men to find Canada and help us build a republic. So Raza, can you take it away and explain to me what wonders this man did for our society?
Before I go on this thing, Bailey is like tiptoeing. He's a bad white man. He's like tiptoeing around. I can't say it, but he's like.
I'm trying to give you the opportunity to like drop the hammer. I'm setting you up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
There you go. Jesus.
Henry Dundas was a Scottish politician who, ironically enough, he opposed the British Empire's participation in the slave trade, but he was also participating in the slave trade himself. He opposed. His opposition served to stall its abolition of hundreds of thousands of slaves. Many of them were black, and he was a big deal he was one of the players of setting up the slave trade in Canada. I don't know the exact history of the other ones, but he was the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones. And the city is going to be doing it from the public infrastructure. So that means TTC's Dundas West subway station, Yonge and Dundas Square, and other locations in downtown. This is supposed to be in this is supposed to be fully in effect by 2022, and that's when they will pick a new name around that. So next year, and it'll cost the city about. Yeah.
So may I summarize right quick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Henry Dundas was a dick. Okay.
Yes.
Henry Dundas was a dick, and so finally a lot of people have been like making a big hoopla about it, rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
And then the city council finally voted to change the name of the street, and this is gonna take place in 2022.
Yes.
Cool.
And it'll cost. It could cost around $6.3 million. Over 2 years. So
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5.1 to $6.3 million over 2 years. It's supposed to. This cost. The quote says, "This cost estimates reflects the significant number of changes and complexity of work involved in changing the names of Dundas Street as a major arterial road, which is a direct linkage to provincial highways that impacts the transit system and other civic assets," the report says. So
What?
it's just a work.
Okay,
It's
so
a
basically it's all the fucking signs and shit. Literally.
No, I
it's
get that.
everything. All the infrastructure.
I get
That's been
that,
changed. Yeah.
but like, just use stickers. Like, what? That is, it's gonna be such a waste of time and money, and then it's gonna be stupid construction, like it always is in fucking Toronto. You can't go anywhere or do anything because the fucking roads are garbage.
And
Like,
Seven people. Okay, so it was a 17-7 decision, and seven people, council members, voted against this, and the 17 said, "Let's change it." So next by-election, if you want, look up these seven people, and if you want them out of office, these are your reasoning.
This is your
Yeah.
way.
This is
Um,
your way.
this is the way. But for like, Wine Mom's got a point of like, why not use stickers, right? Like, why?
Exactly, I agree with that completely.
When
I
we're
just feel
talking
like
about the reparations stuff for making up
right.
for Canada's horrible history, it's like you could also do just a really good PR statement and officially like change the name. But I mean, fucking, there's a lot of signs and stuff, a lot of money,
I
you know.
mean, why don't you donate to indigenous communities? Why don't we start there?
Ooh,
Mhm.
Like, why don't we improve the system that's been failing them this whole entire time?
I agree with that
So
assessment.
yeah, so the committee that's part of changing the name, this is, I believe this is a good step. It is, the committee will be made up of Black Indigenous leaders that represent the community they live in and work along Dundas Street and the area surrounding. The committee will develop a potential new names and transition plan to help residents and businesses throughout the process. So like there is
Okay.
some sort of like silver lining, but
Okay, but
that's
wait.
that. Yeah.
Are they making a council to help decide a new name, or are they
Yes.
hiring? Okay, but so
Yeah.
you're telling me they're not hiring indigenous companies to do the signs. They're just
They're
having people come up with the name.
leaders. It says they're leaders.
Right.
And
But
That's
it's like,
again,
okay, so that's fine and that's all cool and I'm totally all for that.
mhm.
But it's like we're going to waste a bunch of money for the government to do basically nothing.
and
Like,
it's a white guy here saying it, so grain of salt, obviously. But like, who are the indigenous leaders and who selects the indigenous leaders? Are there tribal
right.
councils, or is it just like the ones that the politicians know?
I mean, I assume that's going to be done correctly. You would fucking hope so at the very least. But it's like I just don't I never understand that idea of like, oh, we'll just ask them for their input. It's like, okay, cool. You've like they've been trying to get their input in forever. But so now let's just
Yeah.
because, let's do the easiest thing by changing. Like there's so much stuff in fucking Canada that can be changed that would severely improve indigenous lives. But let's change Dundas. Let's do that.
That's what I
It's like
mean.
I get it. I get it. Like it's a very important and powerful thing. Like because it is a symbolism, right? I get it. It makes sense, but it's like we're spending money to put it to what? You guys have the $6 million to change signs, but you don't have the money to support people through COVID because that's been
Mhm.
clear, and you don't have the money to improve the quality of life in indigenous communities. But you have $6,000 over the next however many fucking years to do this bullshit. 6 million, sorry, to
Yeah,
to
yeah.
change signs.
6 million whole
Yeah.
dollars. They can't put it into any new like housing options, and
Right.
not to mind like the percentage of indigenous people
Right.
that are unhoused and blah blah
No,
blah.
instead we're gonna line the pockets of the white workers. That's what we're gonna do. Makes sense.
Yeah, we're gonna pay our
We're gonna
buddies to
fund
change the
those
signs.
businesses. Yeah.
Who do you
Got
think
it.
makes the signs? You know what I mean? Who
Yeah.
who do you think
Got
owns the
it.
companies that does this and does that?
Yeah, the same person. Maybe it's Ford's friend or daughter, like with the signs that we had to get made for COVID, with the stickers, because it had to be within family, right?
So I think you summarized it well. Like the bigger thing is like they could be doing better stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
as we're talking about like Dundas Street and us changing shitty names for stuff to fucking right our terrible past, rightfully, like, what what's S tier in replacement priority and what's D tier
Yeah.
in replacement priority? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Like I like this is a good thing, like the name change, but in like I think this isn't like yeah, you want to change the name, but it should be like let's first clean up, as Wine Mom says, the indigenous community. Let's help them do that, and then change the names, right? Let's first
Right.
go down to those issues. This name change, I believe, all these things that's happening, which I'm stoked that are happening, but they're purely optics, right?
Oh yeah, it's
It's
performative, is what
it's
it is.
performative.
Yeah.
It's like what liberals are good at. They're very good
I
at
mean,
performative. Actually, I'm not liberal, but like it's just like
it's like I
it,
can already think of two big issues that need to be
what?
solved
Yeah.
before the signs need to be changed. How about clean water? That's number one.
Yes.
And how
Yes.
about stop the fucking pipeline?
Okay,
Maybe
Oh yeah.
reconsider what you're
to be
doing with
fair,
that.
think on a city scale. What should the
No.
city of Toronto,
No.
if they're the ones sitting here trying to say, here's our priority list of things we should be
Okay.
doing,
Okay,
what
so
could
how
the
about
city
this?
do?
Okay, how about this? The city has notoriously come after the Native community or the indigenous community for drug abuse or alcohol abuse and those sort of issues, right? How
Mhm.
about funding programs to help with that? How about giving them real places to live? Like I've seen,
Yeah.
and I know this sounds stupid, but since TikTok has become such a viral platform, a lot of indigenous creators use that platform to bring out their messages. And
Mhm.
the quality of living that a lot of these people are going through living on res is like no. Like
Bruh.
you want to help
Yeah.
help right there. People using cloths as doors and like making that a joke. Like I understand they're trying to make the best of their situation and like yeah, I get it, but that's not funny. That sucks.
Yeah, it's like
Like why don't we start there?
from me growing up in Alberta, that's just wild. Like you see out there, it's like the stereotype of the Western Reserve. Like it's just dirt roads. It's
Yeah.
empty. It's
Mhm.
dusty. They're government built shacks that are like
Mm-hmm.
they may as well be trailers.
Yeah.
It's like wild, and then no running water in the whole community. One gas station
To
that has all
just
the resources, and
And
that's
then
it.
how
$6
come
million though, like come on.
like the first thing? Okay. Let's okay. If we're gonna talk about this shit, one of the first things we should do before we actually after that step, let's do it in steps. Let's give them clean water, and then the next thing is to get rid of the institutions that have put them in there. So the
Right.
RCMP, okay, yeah, RCMP is literally there.
Yeah.
Was there to displace indigenous people,
I
right?
know, I'm
Yeah.
just giggling. It's like talk about injecting your political values. It's like, well, you know what? Let's also abolish the police.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
down
it's
with
like
it. I'm down with it. I'm
Absolutely.
just giggling
yeah.
at it. I'm giggling at
Yeah.
it.
It's just
But
like the fundamentals of like focus are just not it's not. Like I understand the thing is like the government knows there's a huge because for once the indigenous community is able to go, okay, we weren't lying. We weren't making it up. We weren't being dramatic. Here's your proof. Look at all the bodies at the schools, right? They finally
Right.
have that bit of evidence to be like, now you can't tell us that we're lying. Because even though we all know about the genocide, for so long people are like, oh, it's just whatever. We don't know. It's been so long ago. When we know that, number one, it wasn't that long ago. But
Mhm.
the point
mhm.
is like now the community has a reason to speak very loud, right? And so the government, instead of going, oh, okay, we're going to make up for this by making sure that you have clean drinking water. The literal human right that you have is clean drinking water. We're going to do that for you.
Mhm.
No, you're not going to do that. We're going to pay $6 million to change a couple of signs around the city.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Why
going to
don't
do for you.
why don't we
But
in
okay, but it's not
uh,
like the federal government paying for the signs. That's all I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Which is
Like,
fine.
but John Tory can't give no one. Who's he gonna give clean drinking water to?
Okay, but where is the $6 million coming from to fund this
The
taxpayers?
project
city,
if it's not going into the other things that it should be going into?
municipal taxes. So like
That
city taxes, like city budget. So like stuff the city of Toronto can
Okay,
spend
but
money on.
we have indigenous homeless care centers in downtown Toronto. And I have friends that have worked in those environments and have told me like that it is scary in there.
Hmm.
That's how uncared for the building is. Like she stays over there overnight and like she can't sleep because it's so gross in there. Are you kidding me? You can't put money into cleaning up that building and like making it a proper livable space for people. You can't do that.
Well, according to the city,
Come
that's
on.
not their responsibility. That's not their
It
facility.
is.
It's
It
not their
is.
facility.
It
It's
is.
hands
It's
off.
their
No, no,
responsibility.
no,
No,
no.
no.
We give them a check. We give them a check. It's not our
Yeah.
fault.
Like literally no money. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb. Anyways, I'm just getting mad because I just think it's so dumb and it's so performative, and to spend that much fucking money on being performative is literally so irritating. It's so infuriating.
It's what like I tell this to Bailey all the time. It's what like, and I'm using this word liberally, no pun intended. It's these. Don't dogpile on me, please. But it's these white liberals. It's all performative
Oh yeah.
for them. It's just like, let's make a fucking post. Bo Burnham had a song about it, and it's just like, it's all performative, and like when it comes to it, it doesn't they don't really want to do any change because then it
No.
requires them to answer their own guilt. They're like, they have to look at themselves in a mirror.
I hear you, Raza, and I agree, but I don't even think that that's the issue. I think the real issue for white liberals is the fact that their lifestyle then has to change. That's what it is.
Too.
It's not about, oh, now I have to help people,
Yeah.
because that's your whole fucking message anyways. Now it's about the fact that like your lifestyle has to change, or that you may have to give up or give to other people. Oh, God fucking forbid.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially if you are conservative too. Like, once you like
I can't
acknowledge this has happened, it opens up a whole can of worms. You're like, holy shit. You're like, we didn't do that. We're colonizers and stuff. We can't do that. But then a conservative is like having an identity crisis because they think they're just as like, they think what they did is justified. That's true.
And I'm sitting here on my high horse too. Of it's all, doesn't matter who it is. If you got money, they don't want that shit in their backyard. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, cool. Yeah. We'll fix up the prevention site, or we'll give a check to the Native Canadian Center. But like, you know, when we're ready to build condos there, we could probably use that land.
Right.
And then it goes to like even the issue that they had, or it's still going on with the people living in the park,
Tent City,
like that stuff. Like, it's like all about the money and stuff.
I mean, they literally took a kid to court for trying to build people a safe place to sleep.
Yeah,
it's
wasn't that
disgusting.
like last year?
Yeah. Oh, they're still suing him. He's still in the courts.
It's so gross, bro. I hate
and it's like the cops. They spent almost like $1 million, like $2 million on that evictions, the last evictions that they did. It's like, okay, so it's just because that's where the rich people go to hang out in the park and have beers. So we can't have unhoused people there because that's the pretty part that people see.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't drink in public, but for some reason the rich people, they can drink in public, no problem.
Mm-hmm. If it's a tall boy.
I really have no sympathy for those people down there. They're like, oh, we pay so much money for this park, and it's like, okay, what's your point? That's literally where all the resources are for these people, and that's where they need to be. So if you don't want to be there, move the fuck elsewhere. If you have so much fucking money, move the fuck elsewhere. You're well aware of what the community is like before people move downtown. Like, I don't have the sympathy. They are, Bailey. They choose not to be.
These rich people, they have no concept. They have no empathy. It's dark. It's dark. They don't get it at all. Like, they don't. It's not a human. They're not looking at a human. Yeah. They're just like, how the fuck are you there? Like, why are you there? Like, what are you? To them, it's just gross. They just don't want to see it because it shouldn't be there. That's all they care about.
Oh yeah,
It has nothing to do with humanity. It's just something they don't want to see, and it's sad and it's
Yeah,
grotesque.
because they don't want to be faced with the reality of
Mhm.
being like people who are making way too much money doing not jobs that deserve that much fucking money, and then people who can't even get a break. And then I mean that
Yeah,
comes down to like the education system, the foster care
capitalism.
system, the abuse, like
Yeah.
alcohol abuse, spousal abuse, all these things that nobody ever wants to talk about or look at are the reason why so many people are stuck being impoverished. That's
Oh,
why.
100%. 100%. Um, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
It's
And then
so
there's Bernie
gross.
Sanders.
So with that, I'm gonna take that. I think we all gave our summarizing thoughts. Does anyone have one final bash to give to the city of Toronto?
Well, not like to me, just like I just think this what this piggybacking on top of you guys, that 6 million can go towards literally anything
Anything
else.
else?
You could go put it towards education, building up building up water filtration systems, which aren't that expensive. I googled it; they're actually not that expensive. Fucking, you can do like politics, put them in put that money in indigenous politics, build up the indigenous community and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, Justin Trudeau would have much rather you use taxpayer dollars to sue the indigenous community in
Yeah.
court.
For
Meanwhile,
saying something mean about his dad.
kneeling on these kids' graves with a teddy bear.
If there's no treaty, Raza, we gotta negotiate it at some point, and that has to be in the Canadian Court of Law.
No prisoners, Bailey.
No, I hate that shit. I hate that. They steal the land and then they try to say it's like, oh yeah, but no, now we have to double fuck you again because we
Yeah.
stole your land.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like
don't get it. You don't get it. You don't own this
Stream-
yet because we took it.
Stream.
Yeah.
I want to make it abundantly clear that I don't know about these two, but I have no shame in saying I will I have done it in the past, but I will continue fighting for the native and the minority groups in Canada. I've done it before, and I'll continue to do it. Many of my family members have been involved with this directly in a hand
Yeah.
because they are in politics themselves, but they're at the municipal level, and you can't do much when you're at that level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is.
So next
That's my
time you
high
see
horse.
Doug Ford, you tell him to screw off.
But before you do, ask him about his cheesecake recipe because I'm dying to know.
I know, so am I. I hated that.
They're really-
Oh my god, I don't even want to start. Bigger and better things, fam. Okay, so this is something that Wine Mom doesn't know much about, but it's like quite self-explanatory. So Greenland, as we're moving into our future, our environmentally friendly future, Greenland fortunately was the first country in the world to say they will not be purchasing or looking for or purchasing oil anymore. Raza, could you clarify?
And also, well, yes, Bailey, I will clarify.
I almost choked on my water. Stop.
They said they're gonna ban the import and export of oil, and also shut down their oil business, and then look for new renewable sources of energy.
Okay,
dope.
but how long is that gonna take?
Forever.
It was reasonable actually though. They said something much shorter. It wasn't like some stupid Paris Accord. It was like 10 years or something like that.
So within 10 years, they're gonna phase out oil, not just like tomorrow, no oil.
Yeah, no, yeah, they can't do that. I don't think they can.
Right.
Oh, we
Because
can't.
I was gonna say, like, I'm all for change the source of energy, but also cannot leave people with no choices.
Yeah, it's
It's
got
either the planet or the people. There needs to be a tomorrow. Mom.
I
We
mean,
need to turn the dial up to 11.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
Don't let
I
the planet. I'm kidding.
10 years
I'm-
ago, we
I-
had that option, Raza, and we didn't. So,
I know.
I showed Raza Gundam, and now he's become an environmental terrorist.
But no, dude, I am like so anti Hathaway. I'm anti Hathaway.
But
We'll slander that motherfucker
fuck
all we
another
want to.
time. So I think it's cool, but it's also like, yeah, like even checking the article you sent here is like there's still people that like are gonna have fulfilled contracts there. It's like, yeah, like Wine Mom said, it's not gonna change everything for tomorrow. But what if they do cool shit? What if they do like sea turbines, or like they got all those little saunas, right? They got all the natural saunas. You create power
Okay.
generators out of salt baths.
but do you
Before we-
remember? Sorry, go ahead, Rosa.
Before we go deeper into this, have you guys seen the Zac Efron show on Netflix
No.
about him traveling? Watch that show. It's basically about how him finding like him searching for different sources of energy. It's like a weird Cali energy dude bro show, and it goes to like this. He goes to this. Okay, this is like a poet podcast. Let's continue,
Okay.
Bailey.
Okay,
Sorry.
I was done, but now I'm super intrigued about Zach Galifianakis' salt bath
Efron.
power
No,
machine.
Efron.
Oh, not
Efron.
that one. I hate that Zach Efron show. Fuck that
Okay,
show.
but listen. So,
Sorry.
in regards to the wind turbines, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you not remember when we were in high school and they implemented those into the area by our high school? And literally everyone was so fucking grumpy about it, like a bunch of little bitch babies with their little signs
adult.
on their lawn,
Mm-hmm.
because people were worried that their view of the lake was going to be disturbed.
Yeah.
It's like, do we think
There-
the same thing's going to happen there? That's my question.
That is really funny, actually.
Yeah.
I think we got a good enough hippie population in Greenland that I think they're just gonna be cozy with the whole ordeal. You know,
Yeah.
they already do
I
like.
think we'll have to see.
I went to Iceland when I was stopping over in an airplane to Scotland. The shit was super
Brag
hip,
about it.
but it was like super hip. Everything's like, oh, this is geothermal, and we recycle everything within this airport. And you want to have a cigarette? Here's a heated patio with all of this and natural seating. It's like, why are you doing this to me? You're being too nice to me as an airplane passenger. But I say that to say that I'm pretty sure that the Greenlandians would be aptly ready to take care of their land and keep it green. You know.
Right. I mean, I guess it
Greenland
just
is not
depends.
green though.
It's parts of it are.
The joke is that shut up, Bailey. Continue. Can you use the joke?
I know the joke is that it's opposite of what it is.
I know.
Yeah.
Fucking. I don't want to do this anymore.
No, but I genuinely am concerned though that because you never know, there's always a chance that it's a small population in the community that might be like, oh, we don't want this. Because I'll tell you, when all the signs started showing up in the guild, I was genuinely shocked when that happened. Because I was
Yeah.
like, are you guys serious? First of all, there's not even going to be a shore left anymore. You guys are not even going to have houses in the next 20 to 30 years. Let's be real with the way that the ground is eroding over there. Number one. Also, how many of you actually go down and look at your view on the lake? What? Who cares? It's renewable energy. It's like, you want your children to be able to like, first of all, because the generational wealth that lives within the guild. It's like, don't you want your kids to have a place to live? And the best way to do that is renewable energy.
Well,
Am I wrong?
comrade, this is why you don't put property value first. You know?
Amen to that. Amen to that. Bailey's alright.
Anyways,
that's the
quite
gross
snobby.
part. That's the gross part. It's all they're putting their property value before literally any
I
other
mean,
thought.
I just don't understand how there is even any property value down there because there's not going to be property left
Mhm.
real fucking soon.
But
Like
it doesn't.
I've seen
it doesn't
houses
look as
literally
pretty,
lose their
okay?
entire property. Yeah. Anyway,
But
I'm
I
Do you
fine
know
with
that
them.
Toronto, and much like my area, is selling
Mhm.
properties that are right now underwater?
Like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me? What?
Yeah, yeah.
For
Like,
what? To do
or
what,
because I believe the lake is gonna dry up and there's gonna be more
bro?
property
We're gonna
value
have
there. So,
houses on stilts in 20 years. I'm telling you.
like capitalist, because man's out here, Marxist-Leninist, without reading literature about Marxist-Leninist, calling himself that. No, it's because capitalists want us to like keep on spending, and not
Hmm.
really worry about our surrounding. That's what ultimately it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
110%.
Yeah.
It's damn your environment, damn your everything around you. It's all about the actual like your money. That's
Mm.
honestly why the Green Party and environmentalism is becoming like the third aspect of like political ideologies, right? Because it's the one thing
Right,
that's
right.
like divisive between the two groups still. Somehow all these people can't agree on whether or not we should actually have a place to live or not.
It's like, okay. What about like, because like, okay, to think of it this way, right? Nuclear power is still very common, and like we have one in Scarborough. There is a plant here.
Well, it's in
It's
Pickering to be exact. That's
Yeah,
part of it.
it's Pickering. Yeah, it's not far, but anyways, we have one, right? So it's like, is your property going to be worth anything if we have another Chernobyl? You know what I mean? Like, so is it worth fighting the wind turbines that could possibly save your home from a Chernobyl disaster? Or is your view worth a Chernobyl disaster? That is my question that I pose to these people who refuse to allow wind turbines that are so like non-intrusive at all.
I'm too
Well,
busy for that. I kind of have a. I was gonna get Chipotle tomorrow, so like
Right.
was he a bit? Oh, okay.
doesn't
Right.
matter. But
Well,
like
In
realistically,
Russia, you drink vodka and all the
The
the nuclear
nuclears.
shit and radioactive garbage in your body gets absorbed by the vodka. So why don't we just do it? If that happens here, just fucking
Right.
get a Smirnoff and go back to yeah,
No, but you know what's going to
potatoes.
happen if something like that should ever happen, knock on wood that it doesn't. We're
Mhm.
just going to end up having to live still in that community. It's not
I
they're not going to
mean,
be like, "Oh, let's rehome you or let's move you to a better place or a safer place." That's not going to happen.
you
They're going
guys
to be
are
like,
not.
"Well, it's safe. Go back there, take this pill, you'll be okay." I'm being super conspiracy theorist right now with
I
that,
know.
but it's like
mhm.
these are things that did like, because this did happen with Chernobyl. Not to get
Mhm.
into the history of it, but there is a building that is still within the danger zone that is still populated because that's where people had to
Oh,
go to live.
If you want to
100%.
get
Like,
freaked out, Canada's really good about it. But read about this in the States, and you will shit yourself.
Oh yeah.
There's like
yeah.
nuclear plants in the States that are like 60 years too old and only get checked
Mm-hmm.
every 4 years, and it's like all this like terrifying facts when it comes to nuclear energy in the United States.
Yep.
So my whole conspiracy theory is why they don't want to go back to Chernobyl is because duh, guess who's there? The Transformers.
That
All right.
was in one of the
Look,
movies. That was in one of the
exactly,
movies.
exactly,
It was in
Oh
one of
my
the
exactly.
gosh.
movies. He's not even wrong.
I can't.
There was
No,
like a
but
giant
realistically,
raven robot, but sorry, continue.
Mhm.
no, but I'm just saying, realistically, I think there's bigger issues than property value because you're not
Oh
going to
yeah,
have property value if there is no fucking property left.
Yeah, okay,
100%.
so that's true. That's true. Now, well,
Yeah.
I think you broke Bailey.
no, I was just trying to bring it back to oil, and
Trying
I
to
shat
change
myself.
topic or
No, I was trying to bring it back to the oil talk, and I had a point, and then my non-stoner brain forgot it immediately after interrupting you, and I
oh
embarrassed
god,
myself. But
it's okay.
like, I was trying to bring it back to the idea of like Greenland giving up oil, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
How the fuck do you even how does one give up oil, like,
That
like we
Tinder
can't.
on there? It's awesome.
Yeah. What?
What?
Sorry, sorry. This is
Oh, video
sorry.
game guy.
Video game. Sorry.
No, I have no idea because I don't know. Like, because what is? Maybe I'm gonna sound really dumb,
No,
But
it's
like,
okay.
what is the oil powering right now?
Everything from like your cars to like
But not
plastic.
really
The
at the
main
same
thing that
time.
it goes into is plastics, the creation of plastics.
Okay, so that's what I meant. Like, what is the most pivotal thing that would like literally crash their system? So it's like
Plastics,
if
because then
that
it affects
happens,
computers and shit.
fuck. I was gonna be like, oh fuck plastic, let's get rid of it, but that's true. Plastic for
But
computers.
like we are looking at like companies are looking at like quote unquote like
More metal now.
no, not even just metal or like we're we're getting to the point where like we are like companies are now using for materials that isn't like expensive to make, but it's also like it can do the same thing that copper can do.
Right.
But like, but that's still like a year, like years off. Like that's
Yeah,
like
it's like a
shit.
confusing and like I think that's the shitty part about the government and the way things work because we can only have the conversation on such like a like high up scale because realistically we should be able to have like a larger discussion of like okay we don't want to use oil but like this plastic is mad recyclable so can we agree we could still use this for city pipes whereas this piece of shit is just going into straws can we please not make these straws anymore you know like it
Weird,
should be
Bailey.
maybe we have a nuanced discussion about what is maybe acceptable risk you know
Right.
100%. And the things that like Mother Nature can clean herself without
yeah.
us, right? Yeah, I agree with
Right.
that completely. But what was I gonna say? What the fuck was I gonna say? I was gonna say a good fucking
Well,
point. Never mind.
if you're
Never
part
mind.
of the capitalist population and it doesn't matter, just spend money. Don't think about it, bro. Don't think about it. That's the slogan. Don't think about it, dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Spend money.
But, but
Actually,
Bailey is saying that on his computer that he bought with money. I too live in a society, Bailey. What about you?
oh my god. No, but in regards to this is just a random thought that I had that I remembered is
Go.
I went to Tim Hortons recently and every time I go I don't get a straw because I'm like why I don't need it. But I read on their sign recently that they're trying to be in by the end of 2020 or sorry, 2021. They say for 2022, they want to be rid of single-use plastics. And I'm like, okay, how are you going to do that?
Exactly.
That's
How's
my
everybody gonna
like
come on
I'm
board with
cool with it. Right. I'm cool with it like let's fucking do it. Like it's
it?
time, but how are you going to do that?
I know
What
some.
are you going to replace it with?
I know some people that like live that, and it's hectic. It's like everything they think about it. Like you gotta the food you're buying is there a plastic bag
Right.
inside? Was it
Right.
saran wrapped? It's like
Right.
is your cucumber saran wrapped? It's like fucking you know. It's like little things. Does it have a sticker on it? Did you know shit like that?
You just like stressed my brain out with that statement.
it's like see stuff like that. I hate when companies do that. Why do we have to make a conscious decision for things that you have like that you have done? Why do I have to get a plastic straw for the damage that you have done, right? Like that's
Right.
like the same thing. I transfer this argument to like waiters, to example. Like I pay a good amount like tips, and I think everybody should live on a good wage. But why am I paying like for tips when
Right.
these
To make it
wait
up.
yeah
Mhm.
when the restaurant should be giving the wait staff
Livable
livable
wage.
and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. That's my argument. And it goes back to these companies giving us these like other ways of consuming things. Like, why do we have to do things on our level when if you do
Right.
something on your level, it'll be more impactful. You know what
I
I mean?
mean, don't even get me started on tips as somebody who worked living off basically tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible fucking system, and people that hire people and expect them to live off tips are garbage people, and yeah. Pay your fucking staff what they're worth. That's what that is.
100%, 100%. Yeah, like I was even asking my friend this, but like I pay tips like of what I suspect is appropriate, but then
Mhm.
at the same time, I'm just like I'm paying for my meal plus something else when
Yeah.
the restaurant should be covering everything
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
I
paying
mean,
for everything.
yeah. I mean, tips is a specific service because it's the whole thing of tips is like to ensure proper service, right? That's
Mhm,
what tips stands for.
mhm,
So, as somebody who did receive tips, like there are reasons why tips are reasonable if you feel like the person is giving you above and beyond service. However,
yes, 100%.
your point stands that there's no reason why so much of our population, which is our young people, which is like people between the ages of like 35 to 20, maybe
Mhm,
even younger than that, are living
mhm,
off minimum wage, and like so many people can't even afford the bare minimum of things that they
exactly,
need. So it's like
exactly.
we rely on those tips, and I've been in many experiences as somebody who's received tips through most of my career, is like
Mhm,
there's been situations where tips are passed in the wrong way and then I don't even get them. So it's
mhm,
like that's
yeah.
another thing that's very frustrating with that, especially when you go into a restaurant. It's something like where they do like pot tips. It's like that kind of
Mhm,
sucks for people, because I have the sympathy for people who work in a service where they're accepting tips, because like I worked extra hard to get my tips, and
mhm,
when they got stolen from me or I didn't get them or whatever the case may be, like that's disheartening when you're relying on that extra cash. Like that's
exactly.
what's
Yes,
wrong with the fucking
Yeah.
hundred
employment
And
percent.
I
system.
would say the
And then
world still sucks, but coming out of Rona, especially at least in Canada, the expectations of that is definitely changing for the better.
yeah. And
Yes.
now I'm seeing I'm gonna pause my game because I want to make an important point here. But I believe that wait staff should be unionized in a way
Mm-hmm.
because it'll protect workers. It'll and it can fight for their they can
Can I get real
fight for they
sassy?
Mm.
what?
Fuck a union. It should just be
No.
federal workers' rights. Fuck a union. The government should make a law to defend the workers' rights.
I mean, you're right, but
You're
it's not going to
right, but
happen.
yeah.
Well, and this is another thing too, because unions are great, and that's a great idea, Raza, and I'm all
Hmm.
for it.
Hmm.
Listen, I understand how you feel, Bailey, but with the way that the government is, that's your option, is to create a union. But it's directly in the hair industry, okay? They were trying hairstylists, mostly because of assistants, were trying to fight for some form of a union, which was some way to sort of guarantee, because there's no health benefits, there's no paid time off, you get nothing as a hairstylist or a hairstylist. You don't get, there's no pension,
Hmm.
there's nothing. You are just a
Hmm.
stylist. Whatever money you make, you're responsible for. And
Hmm.
so they wanted to fight for a union, and you know who fought against it?
The
all of
owner,
the all of the big hairdresser companies, like the people who were making bank, were like, no, we don't want
obviously.
that, because then we will no longer make bank. So that's like big hair industry companies. I'm not going to drop any names because I don't want to do that, but
Hmm.
they're big companies, they're names that people know, that are
Hmm.
fighting against it. It's like even when COVID first started, there are big companies that have a vested interest in the success of the hair company, fighting to force the government to allow hairstylists to go back in the first phase, which was
Yeah.
so irresponsible, disgusting,
It's
so
like
embarrassing.
that's why I think unions are like ineffective and like corrupt in their end. Like
They can be,
It
but
can
it's
like
be,
like
I
why
they
not
can
agree.
put the
be.
efforts into lobbying, because that's where the big companies are
Lobbying
putting
can
their
also
money,
be
right?
corrupted too.
That's true. That's a good
I mean,
counterpoint.
I agree with both of you. Both of your points are valid. At least some system, because I think like even just any minimum wage worker, whether you work in a restaurant, in a salon, or if you work at fucking like a retail store in the mall,
Hmm.
there is very
Mm.
little security for you moving forward. And there are
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
many people who have worked, like I knew, working when I was working in retail, people who had worked for the same company for like 20 years, only just then getting benefits and some sort of like retirement package. Like, are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me? Like
Yeah.
20 years? 20 years. I worked
And
at the same company for 5 years and never even got a 25-cent raise. Okay.
the
That's how
argument
ridiculous it is.
the argument for like raising minimum wage is so hilarious. It's funny as fuck because it's
Yeah.
like, um, okay, the example of what people in the Western world use is McDonald's. Like if
Hmm.
they raise the price of McDonald's, the food prices go up.
Right.
That is not true because in Denmark, I think last year, they raised the minimum wage and the prices of the food stayed the same. Um,
Yeah.
McDonald's actually, McDonald's revenue actually went up in
Yeah.
general. And Denmark also has a thing that I really want to come here, but it won't come here because it's attached to socialism, is
Mhm.
UBI, Universal Basic Income and
Yeah.
stuff. And that alone will get so many people out of poverty,
Oh yeah.
I believe.
Absolutely.
Because
I think
100%.
I think if we hit another fourth wave, they'll consider the shits. I
I
think
Oh
mean, where
yeah.
do you think we're
if they
going
can,
right
yeah,
now?
if they have to figure out how to give us all money not to work again, they're gonna say fuck it, y'all get money now.
Yeah.
It's gonna get to a point if it gets bad again. I swear to God.
But
It's just like
well,
this, the
well,
imbalance of the system is it's fucking ridiculous. And the fact that they sit up there and go, "You just need to work harder." Like, kiss my fucking ass. My
like
grandfather worked 3 jobs to make just like anyway. 3 fucking jobs. Like
Jeffrey Bezos put out an article in the Washington Post, which is coincidentally an article that a paper that you know he owns. He put out an article saying workers should make their work like their home. They
anyways,
should
he
treat
can
it
go and crawl
like
in a
their home.
fucking hole.
Yeah, and
That guy
stuff.
has
So like,
people pissing in fucking buckets. He can
I
go
saw
kiss my ass.
I
yeah,
saw such a good TikTok the other day
I
where it was
seen
like,
it. I seen
yeah,
it.
yeah. I was just so
Yeah.
did you
happy with
ask
that.
him?
Yeah, where the dude
Honestly,
harassed him while he was walking by. Yeah.
Yeah. The comments on Instagram be like, nice. You just like I trolled some guy like, oh, nice. You literally did nothing. He's doing more than you could ever do. And I'm just like, the billionaire defenders have logged on. Run for the hill, guys. Run.
yeah.
The bootlickers are on.
I
The
mean, like,
bootlickers are on.
there's literally no reason for him to have that much money. I mean, I
Exactly.
know we've
Billionaires
talked about this
should
before,
not fucking exist.
right?
Then this is maybe Gundam Wing talking, but this is also Rosa talking. But Gundam billionaires should not exist. Sorry.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true. It's it's
because
it's very dumb. It's
where
I
is
very
that
dumb.
money
agree.
going?
No.
All they are is hoarding that money and
Hoarding
like
wealth, hoarding wealth,
hoarding
hoarding
wealth, and
wealth.
it's going
Hmm.
towards. And then it's not even their money. I was reading in the Economist a couple of years ago that every generation loses that wealth. So like Generation A's wealth is now like $1 million less than Generation B's, or sorry, Generation B's wealth is $100 million less than Generation A's. It gets less and less and less, is because they
Yeah.
don't work. They don't work. They don't put the money back in
Yep.
anything. They just keep it to themselves.
Hmm.
And if you guys watch the plot of The Dark Knight Rises, it's basically
Oh
going to end up like
gosh.
that. It's going to end up like that. Bane is
It's
going to
just
come. He's going to be like,
exhausting.
it's like,
It is.
yeah,
So sorry, Roz. I didn't mean to
it's
interrupt
okay.
you. I don't need to hear another Bane impersonation. I'm okay.
Nobody knew who I
Give.
was till it turned on the mask.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was I'm not gonna dig into you because I'm a good human, but I'm not
What?
stoked. Um,
Fuck Tom.
the billionaire thing is just atrocious because it's like Jeff
Mhm.
Bezos is rushing to space. Meanwhile, like the same money he spends on that shit, like you're literally just doing it to compete with your buddies. If the other two rich
Yeah.
guys are already going to space, like you physically do not need to also pay to go to space. You know, like
Mhm.
Which is so dumb. It's so dumb. It's like all Elon does is talk about how, oh, what if other planets were it's I saw some video about where he's talking about like if they had if we were 10% slower or something like that, that we would have been wiped. Shut the fuck up, dude. Why don't you put some money? But seriously though, like, why don't you put some fucking money into the world that you goddamn live in? You build these fucking stupid cars that people buy these stupid cars and you can't even get them
They
fixed.
blow up.
Like,
In like 3
what are you
months.
doing, dude? Like, you married a 20-year-old who's like.
Elon Musk,
Anyways, I can't even talk about Elon. Shut up.
he built an underground tunnel in Florida, which is waterlocked.
Like,
People are chirping it because it's like a tunnel that other countries have made wider and more efficient. His is actually not safe. It can blow up. And it's very
I
narrow.
just don't understand how you were that smart, but you are that stupid.
It's
Make it
because
make sense.
Daddy owned an emerald mine in apartheid
Elon,
South
figure
Africa.
it out, bro. You're
Yeah.
smarter than that. Like, he's smart.
Is
He's
he?
smart. He is.
Is
Is
he?
he?
Listen, Raza, I know.
Is he?
Listen, I know you don't like Elon, and I don't either. But he's smarter than that. That's what I mean.
Well-
Like, you
well,
know
yeah.
No,
that
you're right.
you're living
You're
on
right.
right now, that if you are smart enough to know that you need to go to another planet in order to save the population, first of all,
Mhm.
no, let us die out, it's fine. Second of all, if you're that fucking concerned, why don't you start taking care of the earth that you live on currently? Because guess
Right.
what, it doesn't matter if you go there or not, you have to come back to earth for supplies, for whatever it is. You're not going to find everything you fucking need out there, so
No, he's
good
not
luck.
he's not, because his solution, if he was smart, the man would have like considered what he was doing with his batteries, right? Like, the man now is trying to change the world's production. We need lithium ion batteries, and he's gonna run out of the shit that he needs to make the batteries to make his whole vision of electric cars work, right?
Like,
So it's like,
Anyway.
cool. Thank you, Elon. Thank you for giving us
Yeah.
these Teslas. Now it's like, let's hope we get them before they're gone.
Right, and like this is another thing too, because I know we're really rambling on about Elon Musk, but one of my friends was talking about, I want to get the new, because apparently he's coming out with an affordable version of the car, which is $10,000, which, realistically, $10,000 for a car is pretty good. Yes. Listen, Raza, that's a pretty good deal.
Pretty normal, yeah.
It's good. So he's coming out with this car that's supposed to be considered more affordable, right? My friend's, I really want this car. I really want to get it. And I was like, what happens if it breaks down and you're like up north somewhere? Where are you going to get it fixed? Oh, well, I'm going to take it to a Tesla dealership. I'm like, okay, where are the Tesla dealerships?
In Ontario.
And right, and this is the thing, is like, I'm very big on like, buy a car that you can afford, buy one that's cheap to repair. Who cares if you got a nice car, fancy car, whatever? Who fucking cares? Okay, just get the car that's going to work for you. Because at the end of the day, if I go into a mechanic shop, there's probably at least 6 guys in there that are like, I know it's wrong, I can fix it. Versus going in with a Tesla and they're like, I don't know, dude, you got to tow it for the however many miles you drove out here. So you're spending like quadruple the money, because you also have to go to a specialist to deal with the mechanics of the car. Stupid. Don't buy the Tesla. Don't do
And
it.
the right to repair. You're
you-
not allowed to repair anything on a Tesla, or else you void your warranty. Right.
Yeah, Apple just lost that lost a lawsuit involving that. Now you can go to a third party repairman.
It's still
and get your
fully
shit
just for
fixed.
New York. Just for New York.
Oh, just New York.
Really?
Just New York. Yes.
Hold it out.
Wait. So Apple has the same thing where it's like, if you get your computer repaired or your phone repaired at
you can't get Apple
person.
Care after a third party repairs your Apple
Oh, I
device.
didn't know that. Didn't know that.
But they have
So-
certified repair companies,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
I
but
believe
that's-
are still under the umbrella of the warranty.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that. Okay.
I just wanted to
alright.
clarify that, because I know that, because I take my Mac to a place that is under their umbrella. So they
Yeah,
have
because
Mac
you
hired
can still be a certified. Yeah, you could be a certified
Yeah.
Mac
That makes
technician,
sense.
but then he's still got to
Yeah.
he's got to charge a base price. But realistically, he could be paying like a quarter of that for whatever he's charging you. You know.
Right.
Versus you got to have a good guy who's charging you the base. So.
Yeah.
But that's a whole. That's the
Anyway.
right to repair is a big old different issue. I want to rant about another time. Oh, next thing, I'm
My
gonna ask
homie
this
has
technical
a whole
question
thing about
because
this.
I'm blowing it up. I'm blowing it right now. Are we doing that?
Okay.
Am I the asshole live or after?
We can do it
After.
live.
Or live. I
Well, what
thought
do you want? Do you want it
we're
to
doing
be a
it
part
during
of?
chat, like when we talk to the chat.
I wasn't
That's what
sure.
I
I was
thought.
just making sure. So while we're
Okay.
talking to the chat,
Yeah,
Whatever is fine with me.
yeah.
well, what do you feel,
Yeah.
Wine Mom? Did you like this section as a main podcast part?
Section.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm fine with whatever.
Yo, come on. I know you got a feeling.
We're live, so let's talk about
Okay.
it later.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be
Okay,
good. No, sorry.
okay. So who's reading it? We're doing it as part of the podcast. Then who's reading it? Do I read it? Do I have to do my
I will
goofy
read it.
voice? Okay.
No, I will read it because
Okay.
I
Cool.
think you two turds should decide who the asshole is. Because
Okay.
I want to
I
see
know.
you guys fight about it.
Okay.
Okay. So I won't read the title because it'll give it away right away.
Mhm.
All right.
So my 16 male uncle, 38, loves to annoy my dad, 41. If he does things that are supposed to be made by women, in his opinion. So my dad cooks for us and he comments, "You should have been born a woman." My dad plays with my younger sister and makes her hair look nice. It looks like she has two moms. Just stupid stuff like that. My dad is a very introverted guy, more silent, and can counter only with a fuck off or shut up.
Like my dad.
Recently, my dad was on some gardening in the backyard and my uncle was there and he commented, "Real men don't steal flowers." So for me, it was just enough, and I said, "Real men don't have tits," and squished his man tits. He had some temper tantrums about how rude I am, blamed my mom for how she raised me. My dad just laughed it off, but my mom told me that I can't be rude to my uncle and I have to apologize. Of course, I refused it, and she told me I'm grounded. Anyways, I won't accept this punishment. I just believe you can't be nice to an asshole, and my mom's brother is not special here. That's why I stand on my feet. But was I wrong, or am I the asshole?
I personally think that the kid is not an asshole, but
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah, I vote that the kid is not an asshole. The uncle is an asshole, and fuck the uncle first off. And
Gender
if
roles,
he's
come on, yeah.
if he's being a misogynist, right? Then
Yes.
then you can use his own misogyny to hurt his
To squeeze
feelings.
his
You
man
know what I'm
titties.
saying? Yeah. So I think it's like excusable to use toxicity against his
cancel yourself
toxicity.
out.
You know what I'm
Right?
saying?
Take a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Cancel yourself
No,
out.
it's like an Uno reverse, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that
Yeah.
being said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that there is an argument for the mom to be like, respect your elders? You shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of, sort of, because you are a parent and you want to like set a good example for your kids, right?
right?
But
Yeah.
at the same time, the mom should have been like, whatever his name is, you kind of brought this onto yourself,
Right.
right? So,
Right.
Yeah,
that's
well,
my
realistically, if you want to get super progressive about it, you should have sat down and had a conversation with the both of them rather than imply a power structure where you have to apologize to the uncle, right?
Right.
Like,
I'm just
because
picturing how that.
if you
session
want to go super
should go down.
progressive with the shits, is like the biggest thing is you're trying to teach the kid like, no, just don't just squeeze people's titties, like this is not
Right.
appropriate. That's ideally the lesson you're trying to teach here. So it's like
Exactly.
whether you do this super hip mediation or whether you just tell them like, look, homie, like it's not appropriate to squeeze titties, so you gotta apologize, you know.
Right.
But either
See-
way, the mom was a bit of a dick when
I
they
think
delayed.
I think mom was the
Mhm.
asshole in that whole story. Like, yes, uncle was an asshole, but I think mom deserves the asshole card too. I think
Yeah.
there is a valid point for her to being like, okay, I get what you're doing, a little bit too much, please. Maybe just only say the things that you said, and maybe not grab
Yeah.
people's boobies. Okay.
Yeah, please. Like, if anything, she should have just mitigated it. She should have been like, here's what you can do.
Right.
Next time, if you have the urge of grabbing your uncle's, man boobies, you can try these other things. Call them
Right.
names or something like
Right.
that.
Call him a
Do it with-
dumbass.
Yeah, do what I do. Like attack them on a personal level.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
I just feel like if it was me, there was nobody that could talk to my husband that way. You'd be sorry.
I'm just trying to
That's
think of
funny.
the trauma, because then it's like now the kid, every time the kid's talking to his uncle, it's like, I can't squeeze his titties.
I can't squeeze them.
I
can't
Well,
squeeze them.
imagine how the uncle feels every time he talks to the kid. He's gonna be like, "This guy thinks I got man titties."
Yeah, the uncle is gonna be like going to family
Literally
dinners
like that all the time.
like this now the entire time. Like,
LOL.
I'm not. Talk to Timmy now. He touched
That's
me.
fucking hilarious. I like that.
Meanwhile, the uncle does only get the fraction of what women have to deal with.
Right. That's right.
He,
That's a big point.
he's able to, walk away from this.
Mhm. Exactly.
Was his, if it was, yeah. I
Yeah.
won't
Yeah,
keep
so
sharing it.
mom sucks the most in this situation. I definitely agree.
Yes.
Mhm.
So no punishment. They should be allowed to protest their
A
punishment.
hundo percento. Amigo.
Yeah, 100%. And especially with an uncle, because uncles are always shitty. So you got to be able to tell your uncle to shut the fuck up sometimes.
I agree.
I feel like that's a very, Caucasian thing. I don't have any shitty uncles, and I've never met a brown shitty uncle. They all wanna hang out and get hammered, and
Oh, I
talk
like
about the
my
good old
uncle,
days.
but he's a fucking redneck, my man. So it's like there's
Oh,
certain
God.
things that is just like, what do you mean you don't like me hunting bears every season? It's like, yeah, I'm not even getting started, bro.
Hold
I
on.
have the
Is
best
your
uncle.
yeah?
Yeah, he's the most tolerant soul ever. Him and my aunt have been together since they were 16, and so my mom had us, and my aunt is younger than my mom, so when my mom had us, he was still pretty young,
Mhm.
and he really tolerated me.
Oh, jeez.
He was good. He was good about it. We used to
It's like,
go. Yeah, we used to go to the cottage on the weekends all the time,
Mhm.
and I really put him through it. For sure.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's
You,
adorable.
yeah.
That's
I
adorable.
can picture you just like just fucking around
Oh yeah.
to the 9th degree.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure he walked up and down the cottage property like 100 times a day. I would be down, I would be down at the water fishing, and I never took a single fish off the hook. Ever. No.
You're one of those. You're one of those. My only
How's
one with
golfing,
my
Billy?
golfing. How was golfing? Why are you
Yeah.
asking me live on the pod? It went pretty good. Okay, I'm getting very zen through my golf. I'm like focusing. I feel like I'm getting in touch with my inner child because I took a lot
Alright.
of classes as a kid. So I'm like trying to remember how I felt as a kid, and it's
So
very
Travis
peaceful.
over here is telling you guys how his golf experience was. This morning.
Travis. Poor Bailey.
With that, thank you, Wine Mom, for fucking bringing it in this new segment, because I like it. I like it being a part
like
of the
it too.
show. But Raza supposedly wanted to hide it from you people. So, thank you, internets. What we're also going to have soon is an intro and outro here. So I won't have to babble through this anymore or get nervous at the beginning and blow it. I'm just going to press a button and a video will play. But that's a heads up for later. For now, you can tune in and catch us here at 7 p.m. on Mondays every week until your eyes bleed. And then we also play video games on Friday nights. And it's usually a back and forth of Raza calling me shit and me getting mad because he is actually bad at most video games. Otherwise, you can catch Wine Mom on the internets doing some things and about to have some really cool things launched. So we will have a hype up for her soon. But otherwise, say bye, Wine Mom.
Bye. See you
Okay,
later.
thank you, everybody. We're going to chat with you in a second because if you hang out with us when we do the podcast live on stream, you can hang out and annoy us. So you got questions, ask them.